Welcome to part 2 of Competency 16. In this video, we will work with classic or basic probability. Number 1, what is the probability of tossing two coins with both landing on tails? Okay, to the right is the actual possibilities or four possibilities, and we want both on tails. Well, of course, that's T and T, tails and tails. Well, that's 1 out of 4. Well, that would be 1/4. And obviously, we can see that's option C. But during a test, would you really write all this down? No, you wouldn't do that. What you would do is this. You're going to say alpha y equals and set up your fraction on you have two coins. So we have tails, heads or tails. So that'd be 1 out of 2. So what do I have? I have 1 out of 2. Okay. And then I have to multiply that. Why? Because both implies multiplication the same as the word and does. Okay, so that's multiply. I'll set up another fraction. Okay, and that's 1 out of 2. Okay, let's push enter. And of course, that's 1/4. The reason I showed you that is because it depends on how many videos you've watched. And also, if the numbers got large, that's the steps we would go through. Okay, so let's go to number 2. What is the probability of rolling an ordinary number cube once with the cube landing on a number greater than 2? Okay. Now, a little note, rather, what is the value of p with n greater than 2? The probability of the desired value, a number greater than 2. Okay, that notation says almost the same thing as that whole prior sentence. Okay, it's just something that we need to know while we're taking a test. You never know how they're going to present the notation. Okay, so what does that mean for us? One thing we're talking about an ordinary cube. We know that the total is going to be out of 6. Okay, and we're only rolling it once. So we know it's out of 6. Well, numbers greater than 2, well, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, that's 4 numbers. Okay, let's put that in the calculator. And I am doing that because during a test, don't do anything in your brain. Put it in your calculator with the information that you know that you've written down. You know it's correct, and we know that it's a pretty simple question. Okay, so that's 4 out of 6. Allow that calculator to do the rounding, the simplifying, or even, if you can, anything, not rounding, I meant simplifying. Simplifying or getting the fraction for you, whatever you need. Okay, so obviously option B is what we need. Okay, let's go to number 3. A five-sided figure is numbered 1 to 5 on each of its faces. Well, that isn't ordinary. See, number 2 said ordinary number cube. Isn't ordinary, and it's not a cube. Okay, so we know that we're going to have five total outcomes. Okay, if the figure is rolled twice, what is the probability of rolling an odd number on the first roll and an even number on the second roll? Well, the word and implies multiplication, and we know on the first attempt, I will have 5. Well, it's a die, or it's not even a die, or you could call it a type of die, but it's a five-sided figure. That means that when we roll again, that our total outcomes doesn't change, so we know it's out of 5 again. If I could write these correctly, that'd be great if you could read them. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Okay, on the first one, we want odd. Well, from 1 to 5, that's 1, 3, and 5. So there are 3 odd numbers. For the even, there would only be 2. Oh, here, some reason that, let's see if I can get it though. Let's see if it'll do it. No, it's being cantankerous. No, sorry, technology is messing with my world right now. Let's see if I can get it. Ah, there. Okay. All right. Go back and grab my pen. There we go. Okay, so what can we do? We can put the whole thing in the calculator. You can put it in exactly the way we wrote it. Or, I mean, you can just do it in your head. And yes, I see that it is option D. However, as I've said, always put things in the calculator, even if you think you are correct. Okay. You're taking a test, and I've learned this the hard way. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Couple ways to do this. We could just say alpha y and set it up, and we could just go straight across and say 3 times 2, and then go down. We could say 5 times 5, or we could say 5 squared, whatever we need to do, and that is 6 over 25. So option D has been verified. Okay, I know I've said it in so many of my videos. This is a very important test you're taking. Please don't leave everything up to brain power. Write out what you know, write out with exactly what the question tells you. Use your calculator, because even the brightest people in the world, when you're under stress, you will make a mistake. This will prevent mistakes. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, what is the probability of tossing 3 coins with all coins landing on tails or all coins landing on heads? Okay, when it says or, we know that that's going to be a situation where we're going to add. Now, first we have all 3 coins landing on heads. Well, we know that the probability of any coin is always going to be 1 out of 2. And then we have 3 of those coins landing. Regardless, we just need the probability of them landing. It's either going to be heads or tails, so that'll be the probability for one option. Or, so we're going to add. So or means that what's the probability of the other option? Well, it's a coin. It's going to be the same thing, because we're talking all heads, all tails. Okay. All right, so in this case, we can put it in the calculator exactly the way we see it. Okay, so how do we do that? We need parentheses and alpha y equals, so number 1's what we want. That'll give us our fraction, and that's 1, arrow down 2, arrow over, and then close your parentheses, carry it up to the 3rd power, arrow over, add, and then, oops, go ahead and open the parentheses. Alpha y equals number 1 is what we want. 1, arrow down 2, arrow over, close, carry it up 3. Yes, you could do this in your head, or you could write it all out in that space we have there and solve it. Sure, all by hand. However, here I'm going to push enter. I don't have to simplify when I do this. It automatically gives me what I need. Okay. All right. Because you'd be adding, if you think about it, what you really would end up with is here you would have 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8. Well, when you're adding fractions together, that would be 8, 2 out of 8, blah, and da da da. There we go. Okay. First, it took me just as much time, same amount of time. You know how I wrote it all out. I did it in my head. I could have made a mistake, but instead, I read the problem, put it in exactly the way I saw it or how it read into the calculator, and it simplified for me. So that's the benefit of using your calculator for a simple probability situation such as this. Okay, so let's look at number 5. What is the probability of tossing a coin 4 times and landing on tails all 4 times? Okay, well, this is just one coin, so we have to think of each toss separately. So we know that a coin is 1/2. Okay. Well, technically, if you're going to do it 4 times, that's what you need to put in the calculator. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with my parentheses open, alpha y equals. Number one's what I want, and then put in my half again. Arrow over, close. Oops, 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 oops. I put the wrong thing in. I am going to highlight that, push equal. I really didn't mean to press that. Let's go caret up and then 4. Now push enter, and it simplifies everything quickly for me, which that would be option B. Now we know that 1 to the 4th power is 1 and 2 to the 4th power is 16. But if you don't have it memorized, that's fine. Just put it in your calculator. Okay, now let's look at number 6, an ordinary number cube. Okay, that just means regular die rolled twice. Okay, now what is the probability of the sum of the two rolls is equal to 4? First, we have to think of the numbers on a cube. When we roll it separately, doesn't matter. We have numbers 1 through 6. But honestly, we could say 1 and 3, or we could say 3 and 1. And then the only other one option we have is 2 and 2. However, we're talking about 2 coins, okay? And we have to think about them together. All right, so what do we really have? We have 2 rolls, so the outcomes are 6 total outcomes, is each roll multiplied together. But the reality is we only have 1, 2, 3 options with those rolls. We're only looking for these 1, 2, 3 out of the total 36. So that would be over 3. Okay, so that is alpha y equals, and that's number 1, always give us our fraction. So that's 3, and 6 times 6 is 36, or you could just say 6 times 6, just so you don't make a mistake. Okay, just in case. And push enter, 112. That's option D. Okay, that's the last question in this video. Once again, thank you everybody for watching. Please watch the next videos in Competency 16. Yes, the questions get much more complex as we move along, and there will be more calculator use with more options on the calculator, more functions being utilized. And thanks again to everybody who has subscribed, liked us, and shared our channel, also our website. I really appreciate you guys. Happy testing, everybody.